Life is unpredictable, and at times, it can feel like a battle. Many of us experience moments of sadness, despair, or even depression. When life knocks us down, we often search for ways to rise again. Today, I want to introduce you to a philosophy that has helped warriors, kings, and great thinkers for centuries. Stoicism. Stoicism is not about ignoring emotions, but about mastering them. It teaches us to control what we can and let go of what we cannot. By applying Stoic principles, we can build resilience and find peace, even in our darkest moments. Let's explore 10 key Stoic principles to help overcome depression and reclaim our inner strength. Control what you can, accept what you can't. One of the core ideas in Stoicism is understanding the difference between what is within our control and what is not. This concept, taught by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, can be life-changing, especially when dealing with depression. When we go through difficult times, our minds often focus on things we cannot change. We worry about how others see us, regret past mistakes, or fear an uncertain future. This constant focus on the uncontrollable only deepens our feelings of helplessness. However, Stoicism teaches that true peace comes from directing our energy toward the things we can influence. What do we control? We control our thoughts, our actions, our attitudes, and our reactions to events. No matter what happens around us, we always have the ability to choose how we respond. Even in the darkest moments, we can decide to take a small step forward, to seek help, or to change the way we think about our situation. What don't we control? We don't control other people's actions, the past, or random events in life. Wasting energy on these things leads to frustration and sadness. Instead of wishing things were different, the Stoics teach us to accept reality as it is. This doesn't mean giving up or ignoring problems. It means facing life with a clear mind, free from unnecessary suffering. For example, if someone treats you unfairly, you cannot control their behavior, but you can control how you react. You can choose not to let their negativity affect your inner peace. If you make a mistake, you cannot change the past, but you can learn from it and move forward with wisdom. When you focus on what is in your control, life becomes simpler. You stop trying to change things that are unchangeable, and you put your energy into things that truly matter. This shift in mindset can reduce stress, ease feelings of helplessness, and give you the strength to keep going, even in difficult times. By practicing this principle daily, you will develop a greater sense of peace and resilience. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges, you will learn to face them with a calm and steady mind. The more you focus on what you can control, the more empowered and free you will feel. Reframe your perspective. One of the biggest reasons depression takes hold is because of the way we interpret our experiences. Our minds create stories about what happens to us, and those stories shape how we feel. Stoicism teaches that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but rather our judgments about them. By changing how we see things, we can change how we feel. Imagine two people facing the same difficult situation. Perhaps they both lose their jobs. One person sees it as a complete disaster, believing they are worthless and that their life is ruined. The other sees it as an opportunity to start fresh, learn new skills, or find a better path. The situation is the same, but their interpretations are different, leading to completely different emotional responses. This ability to reframe situations is a powerful tool against depression. Instead of automatically assuming the worst, we can challenge our thoughts and ask, is there another way to look at this? Am I exaggerating the negativity of this situation? Can I find something to learn or gain from this challenge? How would a wise and strong person handle this? Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, practiced this daily. Whenever something seemed bad, he would remind himself that it was simply an event. It was his mind that decided if it was good or bad. He believed that every difficulty was a chance to grow in patience, strength, or wisdom. For example, if you feel like a failure, you can reframe it by seeing failure as part of growth. Every mistake teaches something valuable. If you feel stuck in life, You can see it as a time to slow down, reflect, and prepare for a better future. If someone criticizes you instead of feeling hurt, you can see it as either an opportunity to improve or simply a reflection of their own issues, not yours. By practicing this mental shift, you begin to regain control over your emotions. Depression often makes everything seem negative and hopeless, but Stoicism teaches that our minds have the power to change the story. When you learn to reframe your thoughts, you begin to see light where there was once only darkness. Practice negative visualization. One of the most powerful Stoic techniques for overcoming depression is negative visualization. At first it may sound strange. Why would anyone want to think about bad things happening? Isn't that just inviting more negative? But in reality, this practice is meant to prepare the mind, not to make life worse. Negative visualization, known as premeditation malorum, the premeditation of evils, is the act of imagining worst-case scenarios before they happen. The purpose is not to dwell on fear but to develop mental resilience, so that if hardship comes, we are not caught off guard. It also helps us appreciate what we have right now. Imagine for a moment that you lost your job, your home, or even a loved one. These are painful thoughts, but thinking about them in advance allows you to reflect. What would I do if this happened? How would I cope? What could I learn from this experience? Do I take these things for granted in my daily life? Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, recommended this practice as a way to prepare for life's inevitable difficulties. He believed that if we visualize loss, hardship, or setbacks beforehand, we can soften their impact when they actually occur. It's like an emotional vaccination. By exposing yourself to controlled discomfort, you become stronger and more prepared when real challenges come. For example, if you fear financial struggle, take some time to imagine yourself living with less, cut back on spending for a few days, or try living more simply. This exercise will show you that you can survive and even thrive with less than you think. If you fear rejection or failure, visualize yourself experiencing it, but also imagine yourself standing back up and continuing forward. This shifts your mindset from fear to preparedness. The second major benefit of negative visualization is gratitude. When you imagine losing something you have, you suddenly realize how valuable it is. If you woke up tomorrow and lost your ability to walk, how much would you wish for just one more day of movement? By practicing this technique, you begin to appreciate life in a deeper way. Rather than making us anxious, this practice actually reduces anxiety. It teaches us that we can endure hardship and reminds us to cherish what we already have. Depression often makes life feel empty, but negative visualization reminds us of our inner strength and the hidden value in everyday moments. By incorporating this Stoic habit, you'll train your mind to be ready for life's challenges and develop a deep sense of appreciation for what you have right now. Live in the present moment. One of the greatest sources of depression is being trapped in thoughts about the past or the future. We regret past mistakes, dwell on painful memories, or worry about what might happen next. Our minds constantly replay old failures or create imaginary future disasters, making it difficult to enjoy life as it is. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, believed that the key to peace and strength lies in focusing on the present moment. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." This simple phrase holds deep wisdom. The past is already gone. It cannot be changed. The future is not here yet. It cannot be controlled. The only thing we truly own is the present moment, and that is where we must focus our energy. When we are fully present, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Instead of being weighed down by guilt, regret, or anxiety, we engage with life as it unfolds. Imagine how much lighter life would feel if you stopped carrying the burden of things you cannot change or control. One way to practice living in the present is through mindful awareness. Pay attention to what you are doing right now. If you are walking, feel your feet on the ground. If you are eating, taste each bite of food. If you are talking to a friend, truly listen rather than thinking about what you will say next. Another method is to catch yourself when your mind drifts to negative thoughts about the past or future. When you notice yourself spiraling into regret or fear, Pause and remind yourself, is this thought helping me right now? Can I do anything about this in this moment? What can I focus on right now that is within my control? Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, warned against wasting time by worrying about the future. He compared it to suffering twice, once in imagination and once in reality. Most of the things we fear never even happen, yet we allow them to steal our peace in the present. Instead of imagining the worst, focus on what you can do today. Depression often makes the future feel overwhelming, and the past seem unbearable. But when you train yourself to stay in the present, you take life one moment at a time. You don't have to solve every problem at once. Just focus on what is in front of you. Step by step, by embracing the present, you reclaim your power. You stop being a prisoner of the past and a victim of the future. Instead, you become fully alive in the only time that truly exists, the now. Turn obstacles into opportunities. Life is full of challenges. At some point we all face setbacks, failures and hardships that make us feel stuck or defeated. When struggling with depression, these obstacles can feel overwhelming, like walls we cannot climb. However, the Stoics teach us that obstacles are not just things that block our path, they are the path. Every challenge we face has the potential to make us stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Marcus Aurelius captured this idea perfectly when he wrote, "Though the impediment to action advances, action, what stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very thing that seems to be stopping you can actually help you move forward if you approach it with the right mindset. Instead of seeing obstacles as unfair punishments, we can view them as opportunities for growth. A difficult situation forces us to develop patience, strength, or problem-solving skills. A failure teaches us valuable lessons. A painful experience builds resilience. The key is to shift our perspective from "why is this happening to me?" to "how can I use this to grow?" For example, if you lose your job, you can see it as a disaster, or you can use it as an opportunity to develop new skills, find a better career path, or even start something of your own. If you face rejection, instead of feeling worthless, you can view it as a chance to improve and come back stronger. If you are struggling with depression, instead of seeing it as a curse, you can use it as a journey to develop inner strength, self-awareness, and emotional resilience. Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He understood that failure wasn't the end, it was part of the process of success. The same applies to any hardship in life. Every obstacle contains hidden lessons that can push you towards something better. A practical way to apply this mindset is to ask yourself, what can I learn from this challenge? How can this experience make me stronger? What skills or qualities can I develop because of this? Is there a way to turn this situation into something positive? Many people who have faced great struggles, losing loved ones, battling illness, or hitting rock bottom, have later used their pain to help others, start new careers, or discover their true purpose. Instead of being broken by obstacles, they transformed them into stepping stones. The truth is, life will always have difficulties, but if you train yourself to see obstacles as opportunities, you will no longer be a victim of circumstances. Instead, you will become someone who thrives in the face of adversity, turning every setback into a powerful comeback. Detach from external validation. One of the biggest sources of suffering, especially when dealing with depression, is the need for external validation. We often base our self-worth on how others see us, craving approval, praise or acceptance. When we don't receive it, we feel like we are not good enough. Stoicism teaches that true confidence and peace come from within, not from the opinions of others. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This means that if you truly want to grow and find peace, you must stop caring so much about what others think of you. Their opinions do not define you. When we depend on external validation, we give control of our happiness to others. If people praise us, we feel good. If they criticize or ignore us, we feel worthless. But why should the moods and opinions of others determine our self-worth? Everyone sees the world through their own lens, shaped by their experiences, biases and emotions. What they think about you says more about them than it does about you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Thus does, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Asterisk, you cannot control what others think, but you can control how much importance you give to their opinions. Instead of seeking approval, focus on your own values and principles. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that aligns with my beliefs and morals? Am I doing my best to be a good person? Am I improving for myself, rather than to impress others? When you detach from external validation, you free yourself from the anxiety of constantly trying to please others. You no longer need to prove your worth to anyone. You become self-sufficient, confident in your own decisions, and emotionally resilient. A practical way to apply this is to practice doing things without expecting recognition. Help someone without telling anyone. Create something just for the joy of creating. Take an action that aligns with your values, even if no one notices. This strengthens your ability to act independently of praise or criticism. Seneca once wrote, "A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval." True self-worth comes from within. When you stop looking for others to validate you, you will realize that you were enough all along. Practice gratitude daily. When struggling with depression, it's easy to focus on what's missing, what's wrong, or what has gone badly in life. The mind tends to fixate on negativity, making it difficult to see anything good. Stoicism teaches us a powerful way to shift this perspective, practicing gratitude daily. By training ourselves to recognize and appreciate what we already have, we can bring light into even the darkest moments. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, reminded himself every morning to be thankful. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. This simple practice helps us reframe our outlook on life. Instead of dwelling on what is lacking, we can focus on the gifts we already possess: our health, our senses, the people we love, the opportunities we have, and even the lessons from our struggles. Why gratitude helps with depression? Gratitude is not just a nice idea, it has real psychological and emotional benefits. Scientific research shows that regularly practicing gratitude can reduce stress and anxiety, increase overall happiness, improve sleep quality, strengthen relationships, help us cope with difficulties. By shifting our focus from what's wrong to what's right, we train our brains to see life through a different lens. This doesn't mean ignoring problems, but rather balancing our perspective so we don't get consumed by negativity. How to practice gratitude the Stoic way. 1. Morning reflection. Start your day by thinking of at least one thing you are grateful for. It can be something simple, like having a roof over your head, the ability to breathe fresh air, or the chance to improve yourself today. 2. Negative visualization. Imagine losing something you take for granted, your home, your sight, or even a loved one. This might seem unpleasant, but it helps you appreciate those things more deeply. As Seneca said, we begin to be grateful only when we have lost something. 3. Gratitude journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you were grateful for. They don't have to be big. Something as small as a kind conversation, a warm meal, or a good moment of peace is enough. 4. Express gratitude to others. Tell the people in your life that you appreciate them. A simple thank you or a kind message can strengthen relationships and uplift both you and the person receiving it. 5. Appreciate challenges. Instead of seeing struggles as purely negative, try to find something valuable in them. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow, learn, or develop resilience. The power of perspective. When we practice gratitude, we begin to see that life is not just suffering, it is also full of small moments of beauty, kindness and meaning. Depression often makes everything feel dark, but gratitude helps us find sparks of light even in difficult times. By making gratitude a daily habit, we train ourselves to focus on what we have, rather than what we lack. And over time, this small shift in perspective can create a profound change in how we experience life. Strengthen your mind through voluntary discomfort. In today's world, we are surrounded by comfort. We have soft beds, instant food delivery, climate control, and entertainment at our fingertips. While comfort is not a bad thing, too much of it can make us mentally weak. When difficulties arise, whether it's emotional pain, failure, or hardship, we may feel unprepared to handle them. This is why Stoicism teaches the practice of voluntary discomfort, intentionally exposing ourselves to small hardships to strengthen our resilience. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, regularly practiced voluntary discomfort. He would sometimes sleep on the floor instead of his bed, wear simple and rough clothing instead of luxury, and eat the most basic foods instead of expensive meals. He did this not because he had to, but because he wanted to train himself to be mentally and emotionally tough. He once wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" Why voluntary discomfort helps with depression. When struggling with depression, life can feel overwhelming. The smallest problems seem like massive burdens, but when we intentionally expose ourselves to small challenges, we start to develop inner strength. We learn that we can handle discomfort, that pain is temporary, and that we are more capable than we think. Practicing voluntary discomfort can also help us reduce fear of suffering. When we realize we can handle discomfort, we stop fearing it. Appreciate what we have. When we go without luxuries, we learn to value them more. Gain confidence. Every small hardship we overcome proves to us that we are strong. Strengthen discipline. By challenging ourselves, we develop self-control and mental toughness. How to practice voluntary discomfort the Stoic way. 1. Go without comfort for a day. Sleep on the floor, take a cold shower, or fast for a few hours. This helps you realize that discomfort is not as bad as your mind makes it seem. 2. Do something difficult daily. Choose an activity that challenges you, like exercising when you don't feel like it, waking up early, or finishing a task you've been avoiding. 3. Practice saying no to temptations. Skip social media for a day, eat plain food instead of junk food, or go without entertainment for a few hours. This builds self-control. 4. Expose yourself to social discomfort. If you fear rejection or embarrassment, put yourself in situations that make you slightly uncomfortable, like starting a conversation with a stranger or speaking up in a meeting. 5. Embrace weather discomfort. Walk in the rain, go outside in the cold without extra layers, or experience heat without rushing to air conditioning. This toughens your mind and body. The power of hardship. When you voluntarily embrace discomfort, you gain power over your fears. You stop seeing hardship as something to avoid and start seeing it as an opportunity to grow. Depression often makes us feel helpless, but voluntary discomfort proves that we are in control of how we respond to challenges. By making this a regular practice, you build the inner strength needed to face life's real difficulties with courage and resilience. Instead of being broken by hardship, you will learn to stand tall, knowing that you are strong enough to endure anything. Serve others and find purpose. When struggling with depression, life can feel empty and meaningless. The mind becomes consumed with personal pain, making it difficult to see beyond our own suffering. One of the most powerful ways to break free from this cycle is to shift the focus away from ourselves and towards serving others. Stoicism teaches that true purpose and fulfillment come from contributing to the greater good, not just seeking personal happiness. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, reminded himself daily of his duty to others. Men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them then, or bear with them. This simple truth can transform our outlook on life. Instead of being trapped in our own struggles, we can find meaning by helping others in small but significant ways. Why serving others helps with depression. When we give our time, energy or kindness to others, something powerful happens. It shifts our focus away from personal pain. Helping others forces us to step outside of our own thoughts and emotions, breaking the cycle of negative self-reflection. It gives us a sense of purpose. Knowing that our actions matter to someone else reminds us that we have value. It creates connection. Depression often makes people feel isolated, but acts of service strengthen human bonds. It provides perspective. Seeing others' struggles reminds us that we are not alone in facing difficulties. It boosts our own happiness. Studies show that acts of kindness release chemicals in the brain that improve mood and reduce stress. How to serve others the Stoic way. 1. Start small. You don't need to do something grand. Even small acts of kindness, listening to someone, offering words of encouragement, or helping a friend, can make a difference. 2. Use your strengths to help. If you have a skill, use it for good. If you're a great listener, offer support to someone in need. If you're creative, use your talents to uplift others. 3. Volunteer your time, whether it's at a shelter, a community organization, or simply helping a neighbor. Giving your time creates a sense of fulfillment. 4. Be there for loved ones. Sometimes serving others means just showing up for friends and family. A simple "how are you really doing" can mean the world to someone struggling. 5. Practice everyday kindness. Hold the door open, give someone a sincere compliment, or express gratitude. Small actions have a ripple effect. 6. Turn your struggles into strength. If you faced hardship, use your experience to guide and uplift others going through similar challenges. Finding purpose through service. Seneca once said, "No one can live happily who has regard only for themselves and turns everything to their own advantage." You must live for your neighbor if you would live for yourself. Depression often thrives in isolation and self-focus, but when we dedicate ourselves to serving others, we step into a greater purpose, one that goes beyond personal suffering. The more we give, the more we realize that life is not just about our own struggles, but about how we can positively impact those around us. By focusing on service, we don't just help others, we heal ourselves. We find strength, meaning, and a reason to keep moving forward. Accept mortality, and make each day count. One of the deepest fears that many people carry, whether they realize it or not, is the fear of death. The thought of our own mortality can feel overwhelming, leading to anxiety, procrastination, or a sense that life has no meaning. However, Stoicism teaches that accepting our mortality is not something to fear, but a tool for living more fully. By acknowledging that our time is limited, we can use each day wisely and live with greater purpose. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. Instead of avoiding thoughts about death, Stoics embrace them as a reminder to make the most of every moment. They practiced memento mori, which means remember that you will die. This was not meant to be morbid or depressing, but rather a way to focus on what truly matters. Why accepting mortality helps with depression. Depression often makes people feel stuck, as if life is dragging on without meaning. But realizing that time is limited can serve as a wake-up call. When we accept that each day could be our last, we stop wasting time on meaningless worries, regrets, or fears. Instead, we start asking, am I spending my time wisely? If today were my last day, would I be proud of how I lived? What truly matters to me, and am I focusing on it? By embracing the reality of death, we can free ourselves from hesitation and start living with purpose. How to make each day count the Stoic way. 1. Start the day with perspective. Each morning, remind yourself that time is precious. Ask yourself, if today were my last, how would I live? 2. Stop procrastinating. We often put off our dreams, assuming there will always be more time. But tomorrow is never guaranteed. If something matters to you, start today. 3. Let go of trivial worries. Many of the things we stress over, other people's opinions, small inconveniences, will not matter in the end. Focus on what truly counts. 4. Strengthen relationships. Don't wait to express love, gratitude or forgiveness. Life is too short to hold grudges or take people for granted. 5. Pursue meaning over comfort. Instead of wasting time on distractions, focus on things that give your life purpose, learning, creating, helping others, and growing as a person. 6. Reflect on your actions daily. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did I live today in a way that I would be proud of? If not, what can I do better tomorrow? 7. Find joy in the present. Since the future is uncertain, learn to appreciate simple moments, the warmth of the sun, the taste of food, the sound of laughter. These small joys make life meaningful. Death is not the enemy, wasted time is. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do, and say and think. Instead of fearing death, we should use it as a tool to sharpen our focus and priorities. By accepting our mortality, we gain clarity. We stop delaying our dreams, wasting time on things that don't matter, or living as if we will have unlimited tomorrows. Life is not measured by how long we live, but by how well we use our time. When we embrace this truth, we can break free from depression's grip and start living with purpose, gratitude, and courage, one meaningful day at a time. Life is short, unpredictable, and full of challenges, but that doesn't mean we are powerless. By embracing Stoicism, we can train our minds to rise above despair, find strength in adversity, and live with purpose. You are not defined by your struggles. You have the power to control your thoughts, to shift your perspective, and to take action. Each day is an opportunity to grow, to serve, and to create meaning. So don't wait for life to change. Change your mindset, and life will follow. Stand tall, face your challenges with courage, and make every moment count. The strength you seek is already within you. Now go and use it.